Pavel Antonov, a Russian tycoon, traveled to India with his business associates to explore multi-billion-dollar transactions. He had no idea that his business partner, Vladimir Bidenov, would die of heart difficulties. Antonov will die a few days later after accidentally falling out of his hotel window. At first look, there appears to be nothing wrong with that. Every day, people die for a variety of causes. But I didn't tell you that Bidenov had no previous history of cardiac troubles. Antonov, his close business colleague, leaps out of his hotel window 2 days later. How often do you see billionaire businessmen jump from their hotel windows? But wait, there's more. Dan Rappaport, a prominent adversary of Putin, was discovered in the street on August 22, 2022, after apparently falling from his high-rise apartment building. That was only a month prior. Rafael Maganov, head of one of Russia's leading oil corporations, was hospitalized for heart difficulties and melancholy before falling out of a window in September 2022. Andrei Krukovsky, a 37-year-old Russian tycoon, died after falling over a cliff while hiking. What ties all of these accidents together is that all of these people are connected to the Kremlin. These are either oligarchs who gained billions by having strong ties to Putin or critics of Putin. And the list of individuals who jumped out of a window by mistake in 2022 is vast. Would you leap out of the windows to end your life if you had worked hard to become a billionaire? You've spent many years developing your empire. Does it make sense to toss it away now that you've achieved success? Aren't billionaires looking for methods to lengthen their lives so they can enjoy their money more? Or is there anything we don't understand? Did they truly fall out of the windows, or were they pushed? We need to learn the truth since there are many questions and few answers. But before we do find out the truth, allow me to introduce you all to economic news. Please like the video if you're enjoying it so far and hit the subscribe button with all notifications turned on by clicking on the bell icon so that you won't miss any of our future and upcoming videos. Now, let us get back to the video. If you want to know who the wealthiest individuals in America are, go to Forbes.com and you will discover that Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, or Warren Buffett is at the top of the list. The only way to reach the top in the United States is to create a firm that dominates an industry. That is how capitalism operates. It is the bedrock of American society. Yet, sadly or thankfully, the rest of the world does not operate in this manner. In Russia, if you want to become a billionaire, you don't get into business. Business is for folks who seek to make ends meet or at most a few $100 million. You get into politics if you want to be at the top in Russia. That's where the big bucks are. Politics grants you power, and power grants you money, and money grants you wealth. That's all there is to it. You begin as a member of the ruling party. You work hard to rise to the top of the political system, and then you begin to develop your economic empire. With power, you can eliminate your competitors and manage government contracts for your firms, while your position in government provides you with the complete protection from any corruption controversy. The media will not even try to question your authority since the repercussions may be fatal. Consider what happened to the journalists who were harshly critical of Putin. Consider what happened to the politicians who accused Putin of corruption. In the 1990s, a group of entrepreneurs took advantage of the chance to privatize the country's major corporations. They made tens of billions of dollars with the former president's assistance. What they lacked, however, was strength. Money does not give you power. Rather, power provides you money, at least in Russia. So, what happened to them in your opinion? Several of them were imprisoned, some were slain, and the remainder surrendered to Putin's will. The Magomedov brothers are Russian billionaires who amassed their wealth through close ties to the Kremlin. They were funding Putin's press secretary's opulent lifestyle, as well as the lifestyles of a few other high-ranking officials. They got overconfident though and signed a deal with another government-linked business, Transneft. The CEO of Transneft, a personal friend of Putin's, informed the president that the two brothers had gotten overconfident and had breached an important contract. The brothers were caught the next day, their assets were seized, and they were sentenced to 19 years in prison. It is not only about Russia, but also about nations like Saudi Arabia. The monarch is certainly the richest man in the country, but he does not appear on the Forbes list, particularly his son, the Crown Prince. Any of the top billionaires in the United States is far wealthier than he is. But when this person became the Crown Prince, everything changed. He purchased a $500 million boat, a $300 million French chateau, and a $450 million Da Vinci picture. This guy had over 1.3 million bucks hanging around that he had no idea what to do with. And now consider how many billionaires in the United States can come up with $1 billion in cash. Their entire fortune is dependent on their stake in the firms they started. And if they start selling off their shares in bulk, the price will quickly fall. Hence, while most Russian oligarchs are not at the top of the Forbes list, they manage firms worth hundreds of billions of dollars, which they often spend on themselves. Ravil Maganov, the chairman of the National Oil Corporation Lukoil, was close to Putin. Now he is given an instruction from Putin personally to serve Russia. He was developing Putin's gas pipelines to Europe in order to make Europe reliant on Russia, and he had direct access to the president's office. In Russia, no one could dispute his power. He lived his life like a king. All he had to do was back Putin up no matter what. But when Putin made the decision to attack Ukraine, Ravil Maganov seemed perplexed. On the other hand, he had billions of dollars in Western banks, yet his whole fortune was the product of his close relationship with the Kremlin. As a result, in March 2022, he officially voiced his opposition to Putin's conflict in Ukraine. Putin would never forgive such a thing. He has given you the opportunity to live like a true monarch, and yet you do not support his choice to restore Russia's greatness. Thus, a few months later in September, he fell out of his hotel window by mistake. Alexander Tyulakov works for Gazprom, Russia's largest oil and gas business, which developed Nord Stream 2, which transports gas to Europe. Putin's major instrument for influencing the EU is Gazprom. He was discovered dead in the garage of his St. Petersburg house on February 25th, barely one day after the invasion. Another executive at Gazprom, Leonid Shulman, appears to have committed himself 3 weeks before the invasion. They did not openly accuse Putin of launching an illegitimate war against a neighboring nation, but they were unfaithful, and having unfaithful individuals alive during a conflict is simply too perilous since the knowledge they had may be too useful to your enemy. Another Russian oligarch is Sergei Protosenya, who owned Novatek, Russia's second largest gas producer. He had a personal net worth of $500 million and was the owner of one of the world's largest gas-producing firms. Yet when he turned on Putin, the repercussions were disastrous. In his villa in Spain, he was discovered hanging from a railing, and his wife and daughter were discovered dead in their beds with an axe beside them. At the age of 55, he committed suicide before killing his family, according to Russian officials. Does that sound plausible? A day earlier, Vladislav Avayev, the former vice president of Gazprom, was discovered dead with a pistol in his hand in his posh Moscow residence beside the remains of his wife and 13-year-old daughter. He was not merely picked as the leader of Gazprom at random, but rather worked his way to the top. 2 weeks later, another Gazprom official fell down a cliff while trekking. On July 4th, Yuri Voronov, a Gazprom executive, was discovered dead with a handgun near his corpse. 27 Russian oligarchs with clear ties to Putin vanished or fell off the radar in 2022. I won't name names, but they have either spoken out against Putin's conduct or have shown a desire to turn on Putin in order to preserve their lives and avoid Western sanctions. Thank you for watching this video. Please check out our other videos on the channel and share this video with your friends and families so that they can know the truth on what is truly going on behind the scenes concerning the war in Ukraine. Take care now and see you next time.